Welcome to Headline Hub Updates. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. Tensions are flaring in the West Philippine Sea, where headlines warn of standoffs between Chinese and Philippine vessels. Chinese Coast Guard ships shadow Philippine supply runs near Ayungin Shoal, while U.S. warships challenge Beijing's sweeping claims. These incidents are part of a long-simmering conflict over more than just fishing rights or shipping lanes. Beneath the waves lies a fortune in oil and natural gas, resources that could transform the Philippines but have drawn intense geopolitical rivalry. The Philippines, eager for energy security, finds itself at the center of this storm. Despite a 2016 arbitral ruling invalidating China's vast claims, Beijing continues to enforce its 9-dash line, creating a dangerous stalemate. Filipino fishermen are harassed, survey ships blocked, and energy projects stalled. The risk of a miscalculation sparking a wider conflict is real. Now, the United States is stepping in, not just with words, but with offers of economic partnership and joint energy ventures. American firms are exploring ways to help the Philippines unlock its offshore reserves. This move could bring immense benefits to the Philippines, but also risks provoking a stronger reaction from China. The stakes have never been higher, as energy security, sovereignty, and regional stability collide. The world is watching as the Philippines, backed by a powerful ally, tries to assert its rights in the face of growing pressure. The next chapter in this high-stakes drama is unfolding on the open seas. The question, can the Philippines turn its energy dreams into reality without igniting a regional crisis? The answer may shape the future of the entire Indo-Pacific. The West Philippine Sea holds staggering potential, up to 7.5 billion barrels of oil, according to the Philippine Department of Energy. That's enough to rival established oil-producing nations and could end the country's dependence on imported crude. Even more significant are the natural gas reserves. Estimates suggest up to 55 trillion cubic feet, nearly as much as Kuwait. For the Philippines, this is a once-in-a-generation opportunity to fund infrastructure, education, and healthcare. The crown jewel is the Reed Bank, a vast underwater plateau within the country's exclusive economic zone. Its immense deposits have made it a focal point of regional tension. The dream, bustling cities powered by local energy, a nation charting its own destiny. But this dream is submerged by international disputes and the threat of conflict. The resources are there, but accessing them is a monumental challenge. The stakes: economic independence versus the risk of confrontation. The Philippines stands at a crossroads. Will it seize its underwater treasure, or will it remain out of reach? The answer depends on what happens next in these contested waters. The world is watching. Estimates of the West Philippine Sea's riches vary wildly. The U.S. Energy Information Administration puts the entire South China Sea's reserves at 11 billion barrels of oil and 190 trillion cubic feet of gas. China claims far more, up to 125 billion barrels of oil and 500 trillion cubic feet of gas, figures many see as inflated to justify its sweeping claims. The Philippines' own estimates are more conservative but still point to billions in potential wealth. These numbers aren't just statistics, they're the foundation of Manila's energy strategy and its case for international support. For the Philippines, these resources are a lifeline to a secure future. For China, they're a pillar of energy security and national pride. For the U.S. and the world, the region is a vital trade artery and a potential flashpoint. The battle of numbers fuels the competition, raising the stakes for everyone involved. The question isn't just how much oil and gas lies beneath the sea, but who will control it. As the estimates grow, so does the risk of conflict. The West Philippine Sea is more than a resource. It's a test of power, resolve, and the future of the region. The competition is only heating up. For years, the Philippines has balanced hope and caution over its offshore energy wealth. Foreign companies from the UK, Australia, and Italy have shown interest, but China's intimidation has kept projects on ice. In 2014, Manila froze exploration contracts to avoid direct confrontation, leaving its richest assets untapped. Meanwhile, neighbors like Malaysia and Vietnam pressed ahead, developing their own fields despite Chinese pressure. The Philippines' diplomatic caution delayed its path to energy self-sufficiency. Now, with energy needs growing urgent, Manila has lifted the moratorium and is seeking new partners. U.S. energy firms, backed by Washington's support, are now in talks for joint ventures. This marks a shift from hesitation to action, as the Philippines looks to powerful allies to help claim its resources. The stakes: energy security, economic growth, and a new role in the region's power balance. The dance is over. The race has begun. The Malampaya gas field has powered the Philippines for decades, supplying up to 20% of the nation's electricity. But Malampaya is running dry. Experts warn it could be depleted by 2027. Without a replacement, the country faces soaring reliance on expensive, volatile imports. The looming energy gap threatens higher prices, inflation, and economic instability. The urgency is clear. The Philippines must find new domestic sources, fast. The U.S. sees this crisis as an opportunity. Helping Manila develop new offshore fields serves both strategic and economic interests. The race is on to find the next Malampaya, and the West Philippine Sea is the prime target. The outcome will shape the nation's energy future and its place in the region. The clock is ticking. U.S. investment in Philippine energy could be a game changer. American firms bring capital, technology, and expertise, exactly what's needed to unlock deep water reserves. Joint ventures would inject billions into the economy, create jobs, and fund vital infrastructure. The government stands to gain massive revenues for public services. By 2040, a thriving oil and gas sector could lift millions out of poverty. U.S. involvement also offers security. The presence of American companies, backed by Washington, deters harassment and boosts investor confidence. This American shield could finally make drilling in the West Philippine Sea a reality. The Philippine government is actively courting U.S. partners, aiming to slash import dependence and secure its energy future. A successful partnership would not only solve the looming energy crisis, but also strengthen the U.S.-Philippine alliance. It's a win-win: energy security for Manila, strategic influence for Washington. But the risks are real. China is watching, and the stakes are high. The next move could redefine the region's balance of power. The world is waiting to see what happens next. China's sweeping 9-line claim covers nearly the entire South China Sea, overlapping the Philippines' legal economic zone. Despite a 2016 tribunal ruling against it, Beijing enforces its claim with Coast Guard and militia ships, blocking Philippine and foreign survey vessels. The Reed Bank, rich in oil and gas, is a frequent flashpoint. Chinese ships shadow, block, and even use water cannons to deter exploration. China's opposition to Philippine-U.S. cooperation is fierce, warning of consequences if Manila partners with outsiders. Meanwhile, China militarizes artificial islands, turning them into forward bases. The U.S. responds with increased patrols, challenging China's claims and supporting freedom of navigation. The result? A high-risk standoff, with the Philippines caught in the middle. Any misstep could escalate into a wider conflict. The West Philippine Sea is now a global flashpoint. The Philippines isn't alone in the scramble for offshore energy. Vietnam and Malaysia have pushed ahead, developing fields even in disputed waters. Vietnam's partnership with Russian firms and Malaysia's assertive drilling have paid off, boosting energy security and revenues. Their success highlights what's possible with a bold approach. The Philippines, once cautious, is now shifting strategy, combining legal, diplomatic, and operational efforts. Joint ventures with U.S. or regional partners offer both rewards and risks, especially with China watching closely. The choice: partner with a superpower for security or with neighbors for regional solidarity. The Philippines must weigh its options carefully. The regional race is on, and Manila knows it must catch up, or be left behind. The next moves will define Southeast Asia's energy future. The Philippines is diversifying its energy strategy, looking beyond the West Philippine Sea. The Sulu Sea and Cotabato Basin offer promising, less controversial opportunities for exploration. Developing these areas could boost domestic production and bring economic growth to underserved regions. This approach buys time, reducing pressure to confront China while building energy security. Success here would provide a buffer against global shocks and strengthen the nation's resilience. The goal: a prosperous, energy-independent Philippines, funding development and securing its future. The path is challenging, but the rewards could be transformative. The nation stands on the brink of a new era, if it can unlock the wealth beneath its own waters.